Bengals week of preparations for San Francisco off to a great start after a ferocious practice. Mike Petraglia outside Paycor Stadium. Here on Wednesday, the Bengals back on the practice field getting ready for the 5-2 San Francisco 49ers Sunday 4:25 p.m. kickoff at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. But who will be the 49ers quarterback? Well, apparently it's not going to be Brock Purdy. Purdy was placed in concussion protocol on Wednesday as Kyle Shanahan, the San Francisco head coach, telling reporters Purdy started suffering concussion-like symptoms on the flight back to California following San Francisco's 22-17 loss in Minnesota on Monday night. Jordan Hicks, the Vikings linebacker, hit the helmet of Brock Purdy on Purdy's quarterback keeper during that loss. And after the game, it was Shanahan saying that Purdy started suffering some concussion-like symptoms, and if he cannot go, it'll be Sam Darnold. That's interesting because Darnold was the quarterback that Mike White replaced a couple of years ago for the New York Jets, and the Jets come from behind 34-31 win. You remember Mike White lit up the Bengals defense in that game. By the way, who will be the backup quarterback to Sam Darnold if Brock Purdy can't go? None other than Brandon Allen, who of course is the backup quarterback for Joe Burrow the last several years here in Cincinnati. Well, if the Bengals do face Sam Darnold, they still have to concern themselves with one of the best running backs in all of football in Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey comes into this game having scored at least one touchdown in 16 consecutive games. Lenny Moore of the old Baltimore Colts holds the all-time NFL record with touchdown in at least 17 consecutive games, including the playoffs, and that is what is on the line for McCaffrey in this game against Cincinnati. But McCaffrey comes in banged up as well. He is dealing with a rib/oblique injury, and the Bengals certainly know that going in, so we'll see if that impacts McCaffrey's flexibility and his versatility at all. Also, Trent Williams, the Pro Bowl left tackle for San Francisco, he missed Monday's game in Minnesota with an ankle injury, also missing the game on Monday night. Deebo Samuel, he was out with a shoulder injury, but the Bengals still have to contend with Brandon Ayuk, Pro Bowl caliber receiver. They also have to contend with one of the best tight ends in all of football, not named Travis Kelce. That would be George Kittle. George Kittle had 170 yards receiving, you'll remember, a couple of years ago in that overtime win for the 49ers here at Paycor Stadium over the Bengals. One of the games that Joe Burrow here on Wednesday called one of the best games of his career. That game, the Bengals had to erase a 20-6 deficit, managed to take a 23-20 overtime lead before the 49ers were able to win the game on a Brandon Ayuk touchdown in overtime. So the Bengals have a lot to account for. By the way, back to George Kittle, I asked Zach Taylor about how good of a tight end George Kittle is, and he said he is one of the best three-way tight ends in all of football. What does he mean by three-way? Well, he can pass block, he can catch, and he can certainly run block. Again, one of the very best tight ends in all of football, and that's what the Bengals are up against in George Kittle. As for the Bengals themselves, Ted Karras said that the Bengals had a great, intense, and ferocious workout here on Wednesday afternoon. The intensity is where it needs to be as the Bengals look to get over 500 for the first time this year. Of course, they'll have a lot on their plate and a lot to take care of if they are to indeed accomplish that goal. Well, you'll have complete coverage throughout the week of the Bengals here outside and inside Paycor Stadium. Be sure to follow my YouTube channel, and it's youtube.com/ActJungleRoarPod. Be sure to follow me online at clnsmedia.com. And as always, follow me on Twitter at Trags, Trags. Outside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.